are becoming much more important nowadays, given the situation. You see, I think I've noticed the other day there's a button that's, when people get a role, I think it says, I got this job through LinkedIn. And I guess the message that a lot of employers are actually using that now to sort of start the recruitment process. And I think, finding mutual connections that, this friend of a friend works here and I'm interested in, dropping messages or joining, discussions online about things. I see a lot of LinkedIn posts about, webinars and conferences during this time. So I think that's my advice would be to sort of engage much more in that sort of virtual space. Because, it's hard to meet people.
That's good, and I think if anything, now the pandemic has made it easier. You can attend events from your living room, and you don't need to travel to London from. I know we've got students from Loughborough here, so you don't need to travel from the East Midlands to London to get to an event, and you can just do it from the comfort of your house. So yeah, and there's a lot of things going on online. So I would encourage students to just look for what's out there and start joining events and practicing.
Hopefully the world is not ending yet, so you can still.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We've got a question. Sorry, Ellen, I'm interrupting you. So we've got a question from Jacob. Is a finance and management degree relevant for getting into the investment banking industry? So Tiris, what do you think?
No, not necessarily. As you said before, I think these kind of companies are looking more for the skills and what you bring to the table, as opposed to, your degree specifically. I mean, a lot of, engineers are choosing to go into investment banking or they're attracted to them because of the skills they possess rather than their degree per se. So, problem-solving skills, critical thinking, that kind of stuff is what I would say specifically investment banking industry are looking for. And they will put you through, a lot of training to get up to speed with the technical aspects of the role. But what attracts them, I think, is the skills you possess rather than the knowledge per se.
Nice. And we've got a question about law graduates as well, if they have any opportunities in finance.
I think it's very similar to that aspect, right? I mean, yes, I could say I've seen a lot of law. A lot of people having a background as law, and they were in the finance industry. So yeah, of course, definitely. Is it just a matter of chasing it? Let me put it this way.
Nice.
And not staying there and say, oh, well, I have a background in law. Maybe I'm not so eligible. So yeah, I think law graduates have equal rights to finance industry.
And and from my perspective, like most of my clients are from the finance industry, so I wouldn't hesitate to go for it if I ever had an urge to change my careers. We had a question from Bama about your future plans for your careers, guys. Anything that comes to mind?
I mean, it depends how the world looks like in a few years. Who knows? I think it's good to have a more of a short-term horizon as opposed to a long-term, because we see how things evolve. I'm starting to think that upskilling ourselves in the more techie side of programming might be a good idea in the future, which is good thing for Alina. She's doing that. So yeah, I guess it's good to be ambitious and have plans for the sort of more long term. I mean, I aspire to be in a more managerial position, let's say, but what kind of area and what kind of aspect of finance that will be, I don't know. So yeah.
For
Um,
me, I'd say, yeah, well, definitely I agree. I think the natural path would be the managerial position. You know, as you stay in the same role, for example, you feel confident and more confident, and then you feel like you can handle, for example, to you know, supervise other people under beneath you, for example, or you know, or more junior employees. So basically as a coaching. Yeah, and I think definitely I would want to try, like, okay, I would want to try different roles within my company, right? I mean, you're working for a company. If you feel that, okay, you reached at a level that okay, you've learned enough, I definitely think that is a good thing to seek for a change, right? And a change is I don't see a change something bad, you know. I mean, for example, I've seen a lot of people that have been in their current role for like 10, 12 years, and I mean that's fine. I don't judge that, but for me as Elena, I would definitely wanted, for example, during those 10 years to be, you know, to be a model developer, to be a rating analyst, to have tried different things. Maybe now I'm a model developer and I love it. Maybe I could be a rating analyst and I would be like out of this world, you know. So anyway, my main point is that yes, I would want to try different roles in the next years.
Thank you. Thank you both. We've got a question for Sotiris from Michael. What do you think specifically is good about working in the insurance industry compared to other areas of finance?
Okay. Interesting question. Yeah, I guess it's an interesting industry, despite what other people might perceive it to be. Sometimes you hear these, perceptions of insurance being boring as a product per se, but on a more personal level, I think it teaches you stuff that are useful for your everyday life. Like there's so many stuff that we are under insuring ourselves of. In this kind of pandemic world, before everything sort of blew up, having travel insurance, for example, is necessary, and understanding, what kind of exclusions, whether you might be covered or not under specific circumstances, or other insurance policies that one as we grow older, it's necessary to have to protect yourself against specific risks. So I think that application into real life and understanding how insurance touches a lot of our things in everyday life and personal finances, I enjoy the most. But also on a more, on the working side of things, it's a complex industry, and it does require a lot of time and effort to familiarize yourself with, and that sort of complexity I understand, because it sort of stimulates your thinking.
Thank you, Sotiris. And apologies to Dan James because I missed his question. So over to you guys. What would you say is the biggest change in finance? Will be the biggest change in finance within the next 12 months and then 10 years?
12 months, 10 years.
I think one thing that came up to my mind, even though I would need to think of it more, is definitely, even in finance, I have to say that COVID takes place. I mean, for example, in our ratings, for example, well, particularly in a credit rating agency, apart from stress testing, apart from back testing and all that, we are actually doing COVID testing, guys. And yes, it's true. we are seeing the impact of COVID to the ratings that we give. So I think definitely, even in finance, we're taking into account COVID.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually, because a lot of the things have changed for good, they say. Even, you know, our workplaces have changed, you know. The real estate market might get impacted because of the way that businesses are now choosing to do business, and namely within the finance industry, so many companies are segregated in small areas, in the city or in Canary Wharf. A lot of businesses are still going into administration,